Okay, you guys, the fans aren't just furious right now. They are in a state of open, absolute revolt. In a move of such breathtaking, almost comical arrogance, the WNBA has just assigned the exact same now infamous referee crew from that Lynx Mercury game disaster. Yes, that one, to the high-stakes Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces semifinals. That's right, the very same refs whose incompetence and questionable calls led to Cheryl Reeve's suspension are now suddenly the ones in charge of what is Caitlin Clark's biggest playoff test yet. Seriously, people aren't just whispering about this. They are straight up calling it what it looks like, outright corruption. So this forces us to ask the ultimate question. Did the league purposely and deliberately select these specific refs in an attempt to tilt the entire game?
It's bad for the game. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those three people semifinals playoff worthy is malpractice. I can take an L with the best of them. I don't think we should have to play through more than what they did. We got players. I think it's crap. And there's no call. And all of them said, it wasn't my call. I don't know. I didn't have that. I didn't see it that awful.
Alright, let's actually dig into the smoldering crater of this absolute mess. Because in a move of such breathtaking arrogance, the WNBA has now officially and completely lost the plot. They have just assigned Isaac Barnett, Randy Richardson, and Janae. Yes, the exact same officiating crew who so spectacularly and completely botched that infamous Minnesota game to officiate the high-stakes Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces semi-final. This decision isn't just insane. It is not just profoundly tone-deaf. It is a giant, deliberate, and utterly contemptuous slap in the face to every single fan who has already been screaming for months about the league's sheer breathtaking incompetence.
Let's jump right in. I want to start with the play that set off all of the chaos. Everything else that we will talk about, there is one play that set off all of it, and it is this steal that Alyssa Thomas made on Napheesa Collier. So this was at the end of the game. Fee is dribbling down, and Alyssa Thomas goes across her body, steals the ball, and then takes the ball full court for a layup on the other end, and that pretty much sealed the deal for the Phoenix Mercury. They won last night's game, but I want to show you guys the close-up. This was not ruled a foul, and I am dumbfounded by the amount of people online, even the amount of professionals online who are saying that this is no foul. And the reason that they're saying that it is no foul is, as you can see here, Alyssa Thomas reaches across, and when she reaches across, you can pause the video here, she gets all ball first. Okay, so no, was there any foul when she was tapping the ball away? No, it seems like there's no contact there. She strips the ball clean. But as you can see, the angle in which Alyssa Thomas is running across Fee, Fee's going this way, Alyssa Thomas is going this way. Fee is in full motion. You can even see, again, with this screenshot, the angle in which Fee's body is going. She is going full speed in one direction. She is running in one direction, and Alyssa Thomas cuts her off in that regard.
Okay, so let's just rewind for a moment and talk about what actually happened in that now infamous Lynx Mercury game. Because let's be clear, Cheryl Reeve didn't just spontaneously combust for no reason, right? She was forced to literally watch as Alyssa Thomas was allowed to absolutely beat the life out of Napheesa Collier. I mean, we're talking 0 whistles, 0 protection for the star player, and a series of completely bafflingly inconsistent calls. By the end of it, Collier was literally limping off the court in visible pain, and the entire time, those refs, they just stood there, acting like everything was totally and completely fine. But here is the truly cynical kicker. When Cheryl Reeve dared to demand a shred of accountability for this officiating malpractice, boom, she was suspended and fined. Her assistant? Fined, too. The entire coaching staff was effectively punished, all because they had the audacity to point out the super obvious, undeniable truth. The officiating that night was total and complete garbage. Now you can actually see Cheryl Reeve discussing this incident even more on SportsCenter.
Who was it that asked about officiating before the game? Was that you, Kendra? And we talked about how dangerous it can be. You're hearing it from the other series. You're hearing other coaches. You're hearing Becky talk about When you let the physicality happen, people get hurt, there's fights, and this is the look that our league wants.
Now, fast forward to today. The Indiana Fever, even with Caitlin Clark being out for significant stretches of this season due to that injury, have somehow managed to claw their way deep into the playoffs. They didn't just become a storyline, they became the storyline. Seriously, every single Indiana Fever game now means insane ratings. Every single arena they play in is completely packed. And suddenly, Caitlin Clark, Alia Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell have basically made the WNBA culturally relevant again. So how does the league decide to reward all of that incredible season-saving momentum? By assigning them the exact same crew of referees who just a few weeks ago completely and utterly embarrassed the entire sport. The fans are not dumb. They see the pattern with a crystal clarity. These specific refs have already earned a well-deserved reputation for being wildly inconsistent, incredibly petty, and frankly just reckless. And now, they are the ones who are officiating Caitlin Clark's biggest stage yet. That is not just a questionable decision, you guys. That is flat-out organizational malpractice.
We were trying to play through it. We tried to make excuses. One of the best players in the league shot 0 free throws. 0, and she had 5 fouls. 0 free throws. Got her shoulder pulled out and finished the game with her leg being taken out, and probably has a fracture. And so if this is what our league wants. Okay. But I want to call for a change of leadership at the league.
Okay, you guys, the fans are absolutely furious right now, and for good reason. The WNBA just pulled something so wild, so unbelievably tone-deaf, that it has people straight up calling this outright corruption. In a move of staggering incompetence, the league has assigned the exact same referee crew from that infamous Lynx Mercury game disaster. Yes, that one, to officiate the high-stakes Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces semifinals. That's right, the very same refs whose performance got Cheryl Reeve suspended are now suddenly in charge of Caitlin Clark's biggest playoff test yet. So, this forces us to ask the ultimate question: did the league purposely and deliberately select these specific refs in an attempt to tilt the entire game? Alright, let's actually dig into the smoldering crater of this absolute mess, because in a move of such breathtaking arrogance, the WNBA has now officially and completely lost the plot, assigning Isaac Barnett, Randy Richardson, and Janae, the exact same officiating crew who so spectacularly and completely botched that Minnesota game to the Fever versus Aces semifinal isn't just insane. It is not just profoundly tone-deaf. It is a giant, deliberate, and utterly contemptuous slap in the face to every single fan who has already been screaming for months about the league's sheer breathtaking incompetence. Okay, so let's just rewind for a moment and talk about what actually happened in that now infamous Lynx Mercury game. Because let's be clear, Cheryl Reeve didn't just spontaneously combust for no reason, right? She was forced to literally watch as Alyssa Thomas was allowed to absolutely beat the life out of Nafisa Collier. I mean, we're talking 0 whistles, 0 protection for the star player, and a series of completely bafflingly inconsistent calls. By the end of it, Collier was literally limping off the court in visible pain, and the entire time, those refs, they just stood there, acting like everything was totally and completely fine. But here is the truly cynical kicker: when Cheryl Reeve dared to demand a shred of accountability for this officiating malpractice, boom, she was suspended and fined. Her assistant, fined too. The entire coaching staff was effectively punished, all because they had the audacity to point out the super obvious, undeniable truth. The officiating that night was total and complete garbage. Now you can actually see Cheryl Reeve discussing this incident even more on SportsCenter. Now fast forward to today. The Indiana Fever, even with Caitlin Clark being out for significant stretches of this season due to that injury, have somehow managed to claw their way deep into the playoffs. They didn't just become a storyline, they became the storyline. Seriously, every single Indiana Fever game now means insane ratings. Every single arena they play in is completely packed. And suddenly, Caitlin Clark, Alia Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell have basically made the WNBA culturally relevant again. So how does the league decide to reward all of that incredible season-saving momentum? By assigning them the exact same crew of referees who just a few weeks ago completely and utterly literally embarrassed the entire sport. The fans are not dumb. They see the pattern with a crystal clarity. These specific refs have already earned a well-deserved reputation for being wildly inconsistent, incredibly petty, and frankly just reckless. And now, they are the ones who are officiating Caitlin Clark's biggest stage yet. That is not just a questionable decision, you guys, that is flat-out organizational malpractice. Okay, so let's zoom in on the league-level malpractice here, because it's wild. Let's look at the numbers from that Lynx Mercury game. Minnesota went 13 for 21 at the free throw line, and even with a 10 rebounding advantage, they still lost. Why? Because the refs completely swallowed their whistles every time Phoenix got physical. Alyssa Thomas could have been called for a dozen fouls, but instead, nothing. Collier limped off, Cheryl Reeve exploded, and the refs just walked away untouched. Now get this, those exact same refs are supposed to manage Clark Boston and Mitchell against Aja Wilson, Jackie Young, and Chelsea Gray. Please, this is absolute malpractice, and we all saw Lexi Hull getting pushed all game, like really elbowed. Fans have receipts too. Scott Agnes flat out reported it. The Fever Aces semifinal will be run by Isaac Barnett, Randy Richardson, and Janae. The same crew, zero adjustments, zero accountability. The league basically just said, yeah, we know you hated them, but we don't care. And that's exactly why people are calling this corruption, because if you were trying to tilt the game toward Vegas, this is exactly how you do it. Give them refs who've already shown they'll let things slide, refs who punish coaches for speaking up, and refs who swallow their whistles when the game gets physical. And when the Aces thrive on physicality, who does that help? Exactly. And let's not pretend this is new, because fans have been complaining about the officiating all season, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark. She's been hacked, shoved, elbowed, and tripped with barely a whistle, with opposing players body checking her like it's hockey. Instead of protecting the league's most valuable star, these refs just look the other way, and when someone does call it out, it's suspensions and fines. It's gotten so obvious that even casual fans are questioning whether the league even wants Clark to succeed. That's how bad it is, you guys. Instead of capitalizing on the massive Clark effect, they're actively sabotaging it with referees who don't seem remotely interested in fairness. And honestly, the sarcasm here just writes itself. The WNBA says they want to grow the game. They run commercials begging fans to embrace the next generation, and then in the most watched playoff run in years, they assign the most notorious referee crew to the marquee matchup. That's not growth, that's self-sabotage. Look at what's at stake here. Fever versus Aces could have been the series of the year. Caitlin Clark, a second-year superstar, facing Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP and face of the Aces dynasty. Boston versus Wilson in the paint. Mitchell against Young. This had all the makings of a classic, but instead of hyping the matchup, all anyone is talking about are the refs. Fans aren't debating strategy or matchups or rotations. They're debating whether Clark will even survive the officiating. That's just pathetic, and it's 100% on the league. Let's get specific on these refs. Isaac Barnett is notorious for quick technicals, handing them out for simple frustration. So if Clark claps her hands after a missed call, tech. If White challenges a whistle too aggressively, tech. Meanwhile, Wilson can bulldoze Boston in the paint, and somehow it's a no call. Randy Richardson is inconsistent at best. One possession, it's touch fouls. The next, it's WWE wrestling. No rhythm, no consistency, just chaos. And Janae, the third member of this trio, fans literally call her invisible because she disappears when the game gets tough. That's who's running the semifinals. This isn't just a conspiracy, it's incompetence. And incompetence at this level just feels corrupt. Fans have been blasting this all over social media. How do you assign the same refs who just suspended a coach? How do you protect a product by using officials everyone hates? How do you ignore your own paying customers? The answers are simple. The WNBA doesn't care. They're banking on fans watching anyway. They think controversy equals views, but controversy without fairness just absolutely kills credibility. Now let's bring Caitlin Clark into this again. She's in her second year. She's the biggest name in the league. She sells out arenas on the road. She breaks ratings records. And instead of protecting her, the league is basically daring the refs to swallow the whistle again. Fans saw her get slammed all season. Now in the playoffs, with the same refs, what do you think will happen? happen. Boston has already carried so much of the load since Clark's injury. Mitchell has stepped up. Lexi Hull has played through pain. This team has fought tooth and nail just to make it here. And the league's big plan: throw them in front of 3 officials who have already embarrassed the sport. That's why fans are absolutely fuming. And let's remember, the Aces are basically the WNBA's golden child. Vegas is the money market. They've got the glitz, the ownership, the star power. The league wants them in the finals. Everyone knows it. So when fans see the same refs who bailed them out before assigned again, it doesn't look like coincidence. It looks like favoritism. And favoritism absolutely destroys trust. Sports are supposed to be about competition. You win or lose on merit. But when the refs become the storyline, fans stop believing. And once fans stop believing, they stop watching. And once they stop watching, sponsors stop paying. That's the super slippery slope the WNBA is on right now. Let's keep it real. Fans don't tune in to playoff games to watch referee. They tune in to see stars shine. They want to see Caitlin Clark hit logo threes. They want to see Aja Wilson battle Boston in the paint. They want to see Mitchell cook defenders. But instead, the refs have become the main act. That's the core problem. It's not even just about one game. It's about a clear pattern. The WNBA has shown time and again that they'll protect certain players and let others get hacked. Wilson gets the whistle. Clark gets elbows. Stewart gets calls. Boston gets mugged. That double standard is driving fans absolutely nuts. They're not stupid. They can see who the league wants elevated. Now think about what happens if this crew actually influences the outcome. Imagine the Fever lose a close one. Mitchell's on fire. Boston's battling. Clark is drawing doubles. And then boom, a phantom foul takes out Boston. Or Clark gets hit on the arm. No whistle. Fast break the other way. Momentum killed. That's not basketball. That's manipulation. And fans won't forgive it. We've already seen the fallout. After the Lynx game, Cheryl Reeve went nuclear. She screamed at refs, cursed at fans, and blasted the league in a press conference. And instead of the WNBA admitting the officials botched it, they suspended her. Suspended the winningest coach in the league because she pointed out the truth. And now those same refs get Caitlin Clark's semi-final. That's not just bad optics. That's pure comedy. And this is precisely why fans are fuming, because they feel like the league is actively working against them. The Fever claw their way into contention, and instead of celebrating it, the league throws them into a buzzsaw of corrupt officiating. Vegas, the golden franchise, gets the benefit. Indiana, the underdog that actually brings the ratings, gets screwed. It's totally backwards. And here's the kicker. Fans don't even want to see another Aces finals run. Social media polls show it. Watch parties show it. Viewership shows it. People are tired of Vegas getting the spotlight. They want new blood. They want Clark, Boston, and Mitchell on the biggest stage. That's how you grow the game. That's how you pull in casual fans. But instead of leaning into that, the league doubles down on the Aces. And don't think fans haven't noticed. Just look at the comments under every league post. Rigged, corrupt, protect Caitlin. Refs are ruining the game. This isn't a small group of trolls. This is the paying audience. These are the people buying tickets, streaming games, wearing jerseys, and they feel betrayed. It's gotten so bad that even rival coaches are speaking out, like Becky Hammon, who has no reason to defend Indiana, openly criticizing officiating earlier this year. That tells you how widespread the frustration is, because when even the league's golden franchise is questioning the refs, you've got a crisis. So where does this leave us? The Fever are staring at a semi-final where every whistle, or lack thereof, will be scrutinized. Every time Clark gets bumped, fans will scream conspiracy. Every time Wilson gets a soft call, fans will rage. And that's the toxic environment the league created by assigning this crew. Let's dig into why this is happening. Some say it's favoritism. Some say it's incompetence. Honestly, it's both. The WNBA wants Vegas in the finals because it's flashy, but they also don't have enough quality refs to handle high-pressure games, so they just recycle the same names, even when those refs have already blown calls. That, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. And here's the brutal irony. Caitlin Clark is the league's cash cow. She's the one driving ratings, selling out arenas, and putting money in the league's pocket. Yet instead of protecting her, they're setting her up to get hammered with no calls. That's literally biting the hand that feeds you. Let's break it down by player. Boston has been the anchor all year. She's battled Wilson toe-to-toe and proven she belongs in the MVP conversation. But watch how these refs handle her. Wilson will throw elbows in the post, and somehow Boston gets whistled. That's been the story all season, and it's about to get massively magnified in the playoffs. Kelsey Mitchell has carried the fever at times, but she's not a darling of the league, so when she drives into contact, don't expect a whistle. Meanwhile, Jackie Young just breezed near a defender, and she's at the line. That imbalance kills momentum and completely destroys competitive balance. And then there's Clark, the league's biggest draw, where every fan in the building is there to see her, and she's been hacked relentlessly. The refs simply don't protect her. Instead, they watch her get shoved to the floor, shake it off, and just keep going. Fans are utterly fed up. They're not asking for special treatment, they're asking for fairness. This is exactly why conspiracy theories explode, because when the officiating is this inconsistent, people assume it's intentional, and once fans believe the league is rigged, you've lost them. No amount of marketing can fix that. Let's also talk about the bigger picture here. The WNBA has been trying to ride this incredible wave of growth. Attendance is up, ratings are up, merch is selling, and yet instead of showcasing competitive, fair basketball, they're letting referees dominate the headlines. That's self-sabotage, pure and simple. No other major league would allow this. The NBA has its issues, but when refs blow a call, they issue last 2-minute reports. They hold refs accountable. The NFL has its controversies, but they rotate crews to avoid conflicts. The WNBA, they recycle the same refs who just caused chaos. It's amateur hour. Fans want transparency. They want accountability. They want to believe the outcome is decided by players, not whistles. Right now, they absolutely don't believe that, and the league is doing nothing to change their minds. And here's the part that stings the most. You guys, this series could have been epic. Clark versus Wilson, Boston versus Young, Mitchell versus Gray. Two incredible teams battling for a final spot. Instead, the storyline is which ref screws up first. That's just embarrassing. And let's be real, if Vegas advances on the back of questionable officiating, fans won't celebrate. They'll tune out. Aces versus Mercury in the finals. Nobody wants that. Polls already show fans rejecting it. They'd rather watch Fever versus Liberty, or Fever versus Aces straight up, or literally any matchup involving Clark. Without her, the ratings tank, and the league knows it. So here's the bottom line. Assigning this crew wasn't just a mistake, it was a betrayal. A betrayal of players who deserve fair competition, a betrayal of fans who deserve fair entertainment, and a betrayal of the league's own promise to grow the game. You don't grow by alienating your audience. You don't grow by sabotaging your stars. Fans are fuming for a reason. They've seen enough. They want accountability. They want the game back in the hands of the players, not the referees. And until the WNBA delivers that, every whistle will be questioned, every game will feel tainted, and every single fan will wonder if the league actually wants them watching.